All right, the official term is the moon is waxing. Is that like a Brazilian wax job or what?
Yes, the moon is waxing towards full, meaning it is growing in light. We're between the new moon and the full moon. The full moon is this Friday. So all of this week leading up to that full moon, you want to really push to bring your projects to completion, to a successful completion. And the full moon brings those matters to a climax one way or the other. So depending on where it is, and your chart tells you what area you're going to be paying attention to. To Leos, since it's in their sign, it is all about them and the image they project out onto the world. So they have all of this week to really hype up that image because they will have the most power that they're going to have during the year this week. Is a big week for that. So whatever it is that they've been working for, and this is stuff they've been working towards since last September or October when Jupiter first went into Leo. So it's a pretty big full moon for them. For Virgos, not so much. It's a good time for Virgos to take a step back and take a deep breath, literally, and just regroup and kind of get their bearings once again. They've achieved a whole bunch of things, and now it's time to incorporate that into their day-to-day living rather than starting new projects. For Libra, this is an excellent full moon for them because you find out who your friends are and aren't. And to me, friends are somebody you could call at 2 o'clock in the morning that will come bail you out of jail.
Right.
And Libras find out who they are this week.
You're not speaking from experience on that, are you?
No, never, not me. But I've gotten that call a bunch of times and gone, all right, I'll be there. Scorpios is in their 10th house of career and public standing, and they find out their fate one way or the other. They've been saying, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want la 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 la. And this is when they find out whether they get to do that or not from above, from powers that be. For Sagittarius, this is a great full moon for them. The pace of their day-to-day living picks up in your warp speed, and the law is on their side. And those two things conspire, either legally, educationally, or really important matters go very, very well for the Sagittarian by the end of this week. For Capricorns, in their 8th house of other people's resources, and rather than looking for new resources to tap, the Capricorns need to look around at their existing resources and find a way to capitalize on them and maximize them rather than looking for new ones. And they probably get favorable word about some sort of loan or bank thing or something like that. For Aquarians, it's in their 7th house of partners, and Aquarians are going to find their partners going, it's you, it's your fault. And it probably is. So the Aquarians have to find a way to appease their partners and at least let the partner know that they've got some valid grounds to stand on.
Right, and the goat on the other end of that's going to go,
You're right. For Pisces, it's in their 6th house of work and responsibilities. And Pisces, they want a lot, but they're not always willing to put forth the effort to get what it is that they want. And so they really need to make a concerted effort this week to push and finish up their job and their work to get a better result. Otherwise, they'll find themselves not only behind the power curve, but flat run over by the power curve. For Aries, it's in the 5th house of let's have fun, amusements, pleasures, children, sports, anything that's fun, that's on Aries' agenda. And their dance card is pretty full this week, too. And if they're single, they'll find somebody inside of their existing social circle, which is much cooler than going out trolling for something new. For Tauruses, something new comes to light this week or something becomes evident by that full moon that brings a peace at home, that brings an ease at home. That Tauruses have been very, very stressed out the last 3 or 4 weeks or so, and that stressing out begins to release by the end of this week, which is very cool news for my close personal friends. So, for Geminis, it's in their 3rd house of day-to-day living, and the pace of their day-to-day living is about to pick up. And that means school's going to start one way or the other. They can learn something very, very useful about their world that they can practically apply, and they just have to make sure not to fall behind the power curve because the pace of things is going to pick up radically. And then for Cancer, the last sign, it's in their 2nd house of money. And really, Cancer say, how can I make more money doing what I'm doing? They don't necessarily want to get another job, but they want to be able to capitalize on the job that they do. And again, also part of that maximizing other people's resources. And Cancers get to face a fear, something that's been scaring them. And they find out, it's not so scary after all. So that's the good news with the full moon this Friday and tomorrow's news today for the 12 signs of the zodiac.
And we'll see you next week.
Always a pleasure.